I'm talking about safety or make a presentation about safety only related to PEB, because safety is a very vast subject. It has to cover all aspects of the construction industry, right from design to handing over. I'll just give a brief introduction about our company just to ensure that people know a little about us and what we do, and then take you through the way we manage safety in especially pre-engineered buildings. I'll also highlight some safety statistics in terms of where the industry is and what we need to do better. But the basic fact is we have a long way to go in improving the safety standards in the construction industry in India. We are only a 11 years old company now. It all started when I was the country manager for Bowes Lendlease. In 2005, they decided to move out of the country. That's when we thought we'll form Fabs. And within 3 months, we had 4 major projects like SAP campus in Whitefield, then a mall in Chandigarh, then a dairy plant in Ludhiana. So we didn't look back after that. Today, I'm happy to say that we are over 230 engineers with a branch office in Pune also. And we have completed around 9,500 crores worth of projects, and have any point of time 32 projects worth around 5,000 crores. We are still small and we need to grow big. And these are the generic suites service what we offer to all our clients. Traditionally, project management gets us about 90% of our revenue. We also do on EPCM basis only for industrial projects, where we take the complete responsibility for design, and we also do turnkey design and construct projects. Some of our major clients in the industrial sector, we are very strong in automobile and food and beverages sector. We have worked with Volvo, BMW, Daimler, Toyota, Bosch, ITC, you name it, we have worked with them. And we are very happy to say that 70% of them have given us repeat orders, and that keeps us busy. In the IT and commercial sector also, we have worked with some good names like SAP, Google, Capgemini, UST Global, etc., etc. And we are also doing residential projects because we can't put all our eggs in one basket. We also take up residential works, and we have associated with most of the developers like Brigade, Mantri, Godrej, etc. These are a few photographs of our completed projects in the industrial sector like Daimler, ITC. In ITC Pune, in fact, was a very large PEB installation. The span was almost around 68 meters. That's the longest span we have done column-free in the industrial structure. Our ongoing projects are, we are doing a Abbott plant where we have done the design also. It's a nutraceutical facility worth around 65 million US. And Bosch, we have done about 9 projects across the country. Riddhi Siddhi, we have done about 4 projects. Volvo, we have got 2 repeat orders. And Danfoss, we have done 2 repeat works. And Kellogg's, we are doing even some jobs on a design and procurement basis for their lab. And we also built their greenfield facility in Sri City where they manufacture cornflakes. Project management services essentially is, consists of 3 stages: pre-construction stage, construction stage, and a post-construction stage. Pre-construction stage is a very important stage where we do the design management. It depends on the project status. And in India, unfortunately, the word project management is very, very highly misused. People mean construction management, but they use the word project management, which is often a misnomer. In design management, very few clients even take our help in selection of the architect or a consultant. We also have to prepare the client concept as to what exactly he has in his mind, and convert that and choose the right consultant using a design competition, which we have done for clients like ITC and Kellogg's, and then get the client to develop the design from a concept design to a detailed design. And in the parallelly, we work on the tender and procurement process, and also build the master plan, the detailed schedules, etc. It's better at the tendering stage, you pre-qualify the right mindset vendors who have the right aptitude for safety. I'm happy to say that most of the pre-engineered building suppliers in India have a relatively higher awareness of safety and importance of safety compared to the other vendors who are still not up to the mark. And in the construction stage, after having chosen the right vendor, we ensure that we manage the schedules, we prepare the overall milestone plans, we do the month ahead schedule, the week ahead schedule, a daily schedule, etc., to ensure that we are always on top of the subject. We also do a quality management, which is like quality assurance and quality control, and get into the cost management, prepare a detailed budget and manage the cost flows in a regular manner. Safety management is one where we prepare a project safety plan and ensure that it is implemented in a religious manner. Reporting tools are various tools like the daily reports, the weekly reports, and the monthly reports, which help us to keep on track of the project. It is always better to be proactive than reactive in a project, so that you get better results, and always better to take all the stakeholders along and work as a team. Only the teams will win. And in document management, this is a very important aspect of the project. We ensure that all the documents are properly managed. And in the post-construction stage, we have the project closeout and the commercial closeout. Coming to pre-engineered buildings, before the PEB concept is widely used, as far as we are concerned, we have done as fabs mostly industrial structures, and we have not done yet a residential structure or a commercial building. And it consists of PEBs generally a composite complete steel frame building, which has a number of components which are pre-designed and pre-engineered to ensure that as a whole, when they are assembled and they meet the unique and specific requirements of the end user. It can have a system like right from the anchor bolts, the structural framing, then the insulation and the roof wall cladding, the fascias, cantilevers, etc. All these are ultimately made fit for purpose to meet the end user of the. The advantages of PEB are the design. PEBs, in our view, when we have done an analysis for the industrial structures, especially for spans beyond 20 meters, PEBs are definitely more economical. Before we started fabs, I have done enough of precast engineering work when I was in L&T. Like we have done the L&T hydraulic shop in old Bangalore Road. It consists of folded plates, Y girders, wall panels which are cladded with beer bottle finish, which is rather unique. But all these are extremely, you need to have a good casting yard, which is should be available. You should have that kind of space, and also good erection method, because these are pretty heavy elements to handle. Apart from that, in earthquake zones, etc., my belief is steel structures are more superior compared to concrete structures. Of course, I would not like to challenge the design part of it. It all varies from place to place. And definitely steel PEBs are lower in cost compared to an RCC structure in industrial project. I'm only talking with reference to industrial project. We have a huge reduction of construction time because of the parallel activity which can happen. And there is also a very good improvement in the quality of the product. Today, the biggest challenge we face in the construction industry is availability of skilled labor. We never get good welders. Earlier, 10 years back or 15 years back, I would have recommended clients to go for a RCC column and then have a steel truss on top, because concrete is anyway better in terms of fire rating compared to a steel structure. Either you build a steel structure and then you have to encase it with a fire resistant material, which can be avoided. But today, I would also think twice before I make that statement, because of lack of availability of quality welders, and also it's very difficult to manage quality at site with the available workers at site. Flexibility of expansion is very much easier in a PEB, and we can have large clear spans. Imagine when we first built the ITC project in Haridwar, we had 7 factories. In fact, the Sunfeast cream biscuit was first manufactured there, the Bingo chips was first manufactured there, Fiyama De Villiers shampoo was first manufactured there. We had around 20,000 square meters units, 7 units in one 40-acre spread. And we couldn't find a manufacturer in India who could supply us in time. And we were running against time because Uttarakhand was a new state, and we had to ensure that the factory was commissioning its production to get the tax benefits. So we went all the way to China, spoke to BlueScope. That time Tata BlueScope partnership was not ready in India in 2005. So BlueScope Steel, we went and asked them a stupid question. Now I realize it is stupid. Can you supply us this much of quantity in about 2 months' time? He turned around and said, it's our weekly production. We can manage it in a week. Please don't worry. That was the answer we got. So in terms of quality and low maintenance and other aspects of it, we have energy efficient systems. We have various types of roofing arrangement, and architectural versatility. You would have seen from various architects who came and presented the various types of features which they can really generate. I think there is no limit to putting your mind into action and creating different structures which are extremely versatile. Before I talk about PEB safe erection methods, I would like to share a few safety statistics with you all. Maybe it's all on the domain and you're all aware of it. Unfortunately, India is not in the best of the lot in terms of safety statistics. If you see, we are around, I am told, 11 to 12 million construction workers in the country. And we generate, in the construction industry, is worth around 4,000 billion rupees, which is almost around 6.2% of the GDP in our country, next only to agricultural industry in India. But unfortunately, when you look at the safety statistics in India compared to other developed countries like USA or Europe, etc., they always compare it with 1,000 workers. And in India, it's about, in terms of accidents, 165 workers meet with an accident for every 1,000 workers. And whereas in developed countries like USA and all, it's hardly 20 or 25. This is the gap in terms of the safety statistics. Even in terms of what they call as a FAF, or fatality accident frequency ratio, we are around 16.5 per 1,000. We have 16.5 fatalities per 1,000, whereas they are at 0.23 per 1,000. This is the gap which we have in terms of safety, and which is a matter of serious worry and not a matter of pride, and we need to do everything possible to improve this in the country. I was keeping only this in mind, and this is what I would like to share with you all. And what we are going to show you is only about the safety construction. This slide talks to you about, in a typical project, which are all the top 16. There may be even more hazards which can result in a potential incident or a fatality. It can be generally fall from heights, unprotected platforms, electrical shocks, crane material tipping and falling, etc., etc. There are various factors and parameters which lead to an incident or a probable fatality. If you see the real statistics of construction deaths, fatalities in India, 56% of the accidents happen because of fall from heights, which is predominantly in the construction industry, it's purely fall from heights, which is either unguarded opening or unguarded platform. These are the two major reasons, and 21% is trapped by something collapsing or overturning. Believe me, safety happens when you least expect it. Accidents happen when you least expect it. In fact, in one of our projects, we had completed 14 million man-hours without any incident. We were about to hand over the project. We were digging a trench to connect the factory sewer from within the building to the external periphery, which was about a 5 feet deep excavation. Soil collapsed and one worker died. Whereas we had completed 14 million square feet of construction without any incident, and this particular incident gave us a real jolt. It happens when you least expect it. When people start fatigue or when the people start relaxing, is a high probability that an accident is likely to happen. We always begin, even while during pre-qualification, we ensure that the right vendors are in place. We have work method statements which is agreed with them, and all these have to be reiterated time and again, because safety is like out of sight, out of mind. People have to be again and again told. The biggest challenge we face in this industry is a huge turnaround of workforce. Every project, when we go around, when we see the statistics, we find that, I will not be surprised that if, for example, I have 2,000 workmen in a project, we always end up doing induction for about 10,000, 12,000 workers. This is the unfortunate state of the migrant workforce. We have too much, which is a serious problem in the industry. So always, keep up the toolbox talks and the regular reinvention of the thing, so that people are always alert and always aware of what they are doing and how unsafe or how it can be converted into a safe thing. Like, for example, I'm looking from when the PEB material comes to a site, how to handle it safely. Many a times we find that the accidents happen when the material is allowed to rotate freely while in handling. So we need to always have a tagging system to ensure that it's not freely allowed to shift and move around. And similarly, once material is reached and if you want to shift it from a storage place to the work spot, please ensure the similar system is followed. And also always have a flagman control it and have a proper signaling arrangements in place. I have seen very few clients give the importance for a good road for shifting of materials. Only one client I have seen so far is Toyota. When we did the Etios and Liva car plant in Bangalore, they first asphalted and completed the roads all around the plant, so that all the vehicles which were moving in the plant had a good and safe access. A safe access is ensuring a safer access for the materials and men movement. I'll talk about the primary members erection. Again, we begin with a height work training for all the erection team. And then what we do is, we believe that one picture can speak 1,000 words. So instead of writing pages and pages about safety, we just give few pictures with areas which are important, which are marked very clearly. For example, in this picture, we are going to erect a primary member, which is a column. We simply tell basic do's and don'ts in the picture, which is easy for a workman to understand and implement in the project site. For example, we say that the person, only the certified person is there, the crane is in position, and it's on a level ground, compacted ground. They should not be, crane should not sink, etc. during erection. The crane with the right, crane should be brought into use only after it is tested for its load capacity, etc. And we have all the nuts and bolts in place. We have all the equipments which are required for safe erection is available readily at the project, and the whole area is barricaded. with the right sense of barrication with signals, etc., so that no unwanted person enters the site. Similarly, while lifting the column, we have to ensure that only the right person gives the signal, and only the trained job leader is there for giving the signals. We also have to ensure that the trained riggers are there and barricading in position. And once you lift it in position, you please ensure that no physical contact is there below, so that your hands should not get crushed with the gap, etc. And once you have it in position, ensure that you tighten the bolts properly and also have a proper guying arrangement, etc., to keep it in position. And how to, actually this photograph should have come later. We should also ensure that the deslinging of the clay from the hook should be done using a cherry picker or something else, so that we have the right tool and access for people to go. Otherwise, invariably you find people climbing all the way using they would have built some temporary ladders, etc., on the member itself and try to climb and do, which is not a safe method. And once you have all the things in position, always, even before you erect the secondary member, ensure that you have a what you call a lifeline angle with lifelines erected with it, so that these lifelines are minimum. We don't insist on a single lifeline. We want 2 lifelines in position, assuming that even if one fails, the other is there to safeguard the purpose. In safety, the simple logic is always expect people to make a mistake, and always have various levels of secondary and tertiary protection fall arrest systems to ensure that the life of the person is never put at stake. And what we do is we also do a load test on the lifeline. We assume that the weight of the person can be around 80 kilos, test it with the 80 kilos load and see that it is fit for purpose. And even if some minor painting, etc., has to be done to ensure that the dust doesn't spread into the production area, have a covered area to ensure that we prevent the dust from interfering into the yard. Now, in the terms of roof sheeting and the secondary members, what we do is please ensure that you have a safety net fully covered. You have a primary thing is people wear the safety belts, etc., and then the lifeline is the first line. But assuming that he doesn't hook it while moving around, have the safety net below. In case he falls also, there is something to protect him from, prevent him from falling below. And ensures that all the people are trained and fully qualified and they know what they are doing. And here we have used the word TKML standard because these were minimum standards for us to train each and every work when we are doing the Toyota factory. And even for lifting the sheet, etc., we need to ensure that the sheet is aligned, because normally the sheets are pretty long, sometimes even 20 meters, 30 meters, etc. They are properly lifted and people know what they are going to do. And once the sheets are in position, first is normally you have a liner sheet, which is the basic sheet, then you have insulation material which goes over that, and then you have the roof sheeting which is going on top. Either here we are showing a CMR 24 system, standing seam. And in some of the projects we have seen that the roof sheeting, people don't go for insulated roof, they may go for insulation below also to save the cost, but please ensure that you have a safety net below before you start that work. Last but not the least, teamwork is important, and I would only reiterate that safety we have to go a long way, and thank you for this opportunity to share, and we hope that things will improve in the future.